The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello and thanks for joining us. This is TV1 News. I'm Maricela Kelleton.
And I'm Rex Litter. I'll join you later in the sports segment.
In this edition, Octedi pays dividends, Air Niugini celebrates anniversary, and Kumul's ready to take on Batis. The final day of the Grade 8 national examinations in Medan has been disrupted due to the civil unrest and retaliation of family members of a police officer who was killed yesterday evening. Director of Provincial Education John Ura has advised students to look after themselves and stay indoors, stating that they will complete exams tomorrow if the town returns to normal by then.
Mr. Ura had a morning brief with senior school inspectors and the provincial grade 8 examination coordinators to advise them of his decision. Ask if the students will be able to complete their paper if the situation prolongs. Mr. Ura stated that he may need to seek advice from Education Secretary Dr. Uke Kombra. He said that under his capacity, he is only able to defer the exams for the day, but if chaos drags on for another few more days, he will have to get approval from the hierarchy at the National Department of Education in order for grade 8 in Medang to complete their final paper. In the meantime, he is urging all students, including the grade 8, to keep safe and be indoors until the tensions eases. He assured current grade 8s not to worry but to check up again tomorrow at their schools to complete the final paper. Grade 8 students who arrived in their respective schools this morning to see their final paper, English Paper 2, were turned away to go back home as the law and order situation in town escalated. Provincial Administrator Frank Lau and the Provincial Police Commander Superintendent David Sainer Jr. condemned what has happened in Medang overnight, resulting in the disruption of the grade 8 exams. PPC is now calling on everyone to be responsible citizens and keep out of the streets and let the law take its course in resolving the matter. He also noted that exams will be marked here as well and does not want further disruptions. Susan Oriape, TV1 News.
The Permanent Parliamentary Committee on Law and Order has completed Day 3 of the Momase Regional Consultations on Wednesday. Village court magistrates within Ley and other parts of the Morbe province expressed a lack of government support from within the Department of Justice. Many social problems such as adultery, consumption of homebrew, gender-based violence and more are on the increase at the village level. However, matters cannot be dealt with as village courts have basic powers, issuing fines as penalties, which doesn't address the problem. Representatives from Salamua, Ahi, Bulolo, Butibam all face similar situations in that there is no due care for law at the village level. Many work without a salary, proper uniforms are not respected, and offenders often assault magistrates. Legal advisor for the committee and governor for Morbe, Luther Wenge, said cases such as adultery can lead to more problems. Tougher laws need to be enforced. Shareholders of Octedi Mining Limited are celebrating as the company has paid a substantial interim dividend of 100 million kina. The announcement was made today at OTML's board Chairman Jeffrey Inez and CEO Kedi Ililimbit, who also conveyed an optimistic outlook for a final dividend payment in December 2023.
Inez highlighted the significant transformations that OTML has undergone over the past year including changes in leadership, a comprehensive business restructure, and cost-effective management measures. These efforts have resulted in improved production levels and operational efficiency, instilling confidence in the company's future success.
And the way in which that leadership team is now driving our business forward. It's always an honour to be able to contribute to the PNG economy, and I know on behalf of all the employees how proud we are that we can achieve that.
Moreover, the board of OTML has given preliminary approval to extend the mine's life from 2033 to 2050, a milestone that instills further confidence in the company's long-term sustainability. Dr. Ila Temu, chairman of Kumul Minerals Holdings Limited and director of New Pogar Limited, expressed appreciation for the hard work of the OTML workforce. As the major shareholder with a 67% stake, Kumul Minerals Holdings Limited shared their excitement for the company's future, emphasizing the importance of responsible environmental management.
There are a number of important decisions that are being made as we speak in terms of the future to try and extend the mine life beyond the current 2033. And that's a game changer, I think, for Teddy moving forward in terms of the opportunity to generate cash flow and benefit, not only for the government, but for all the communities that depend on this mine.
Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer Kedi Ilimbit provided insight into the company's achievements, highlighting cost efficiency and community support. He announced the likely declaration of a final dividend in December 2023, indicating strong financial performance.
Credit again goes to the current board. Some of the board members joined recently. Some were in place from the previous years. And the board has really supported and steered the management around the future of Teddy, and credit goes to them.
Since its establishment in 1984, the mine has contributed significantly to PNG's economy, with 13 billion kina in dividends to PNG shareholders, 10.2 billion kina in taxes and duties, 1.5 billion kina in compensation payments, and 1.3 billion in royalties. Additionally, 972 million kina has been paid in community mine continuation agreement payments since 2001, and 515 million kina invested in tax credit scheme projects since 1997. Carol Kidu Jr., TVWAN News.
The Papua New Guinea government should consider establishing a coffee market center overseas for farmers to sell their coffee, says the former member for MAPRIC, John Simon. Simon said the world market where Papua New Guinea coffee buyers sell their coffee is established by the European Union, and they often determine the price, affecting PNG farmers.
Farmers in PNG produce less than 1 million bags of coffee annually, and with 60 kilograms per bag, often an average coffee farmer makes less income than expected. Former MAPRIC MP John Simon said coffee contributes immensely to the economy of PNG, but farmers often do not make enough money, and that is why the PNG government must consider establishing a market center for the farmers to directly sell their coffee.
The government should take leadership and protect and look after the farmers. We must create our own market, our own market. Forget the market that is there. The market that is there is not for us. That's for them. That is to please and look after the European markets. For us, Papua New Guinea plus other third world countries, plus the other African countries who are growing coffee, we need to come together, all are meeting together and form our own market.
He said apart from a market center, the PNG government should also consider establishing a storage facility that is conducive to store coffee. He said the storage facility must be built to store not just coffee but other crops as well.
We build a big warehouse, a big storage facility, and when the prices are bad, we keep all the coffee. We look after our farmers.
Simon said having a good storage facility and an established market center overseas, farmers in PNG will make a lot of money and at the same time contribute to the economy of PNG. Trace Sipa, TVWAN News.
The Independent Consumer and Competition Commission, or ICCC, says the recent increase of fuel price in the country is driven by the changes in the trading of global crude oil prices. Papua New Guinea is a price taker in the market, and any changes to the global crude oil price directly affects the prices of fuel in the country. ICCC CEO Paulus Ein made this remark in Port Moresby today.
Hein came out and cleared the air as concerns have been raised pertaining to the increase of fuel price in the country. Mr. Ein clarified the processes involved in the trading of fuel globally and how it affects the fuel prices back home. Hein said the reason why prices of fuel fluctuate is because of the inconsistency of the global crude oil prices.
Crude oil price purely dictates the price of petroleum products globally, including Papua New Guinea, given our complete reliance on import parity pricing. So over the few months that we have experienced those fuel price increase was mainly driven by crude oil price.
Heinz said apart from the crude oil prices, there are other factors that also contribute to the change in price of fuel.
One is the crude oil price. Two is the import parity price, the refined petroleum product. Three is the factor driven by the major trading currency. And the final one is the domestic freight cost.
Hein further explains that the ICCC entered into a 30-year project agreement with the then developer of Napa Napa refinery, Interoil. He said the agreement requires that all petroleum products that are refined, imported and sold in PNG to be priced accordingly to the international competitive price, particularly the refined products from Singapore. Therefore, the CEO added that much of the issue with the increase of fuel prices is determined by global activities and people must stop blaming the ICCC and the government for this issue. Trace Sipa, TV1 News.
Meanwhile, Ein said business houses will now comply with the ICCC by way of approval if and when there is an adjustment to an increase in food prices. Ein said recent concerns raised over increased food prices had his team visit all retail shops throughout the country to check food prices. He said afterwards they sent out letters to the business houses to apply to ICCC seeking approval if they intend to increase food prices. He said failure to comply with this requirement, business houses will face the full consequences of their actions.
Visited all the provinces, all the districts where there is shop. And we got all the price listings back, and we are now telling all these business houses now to apply to ICCC and seek approval for any price adjustments. Failing this, we will be taking them to court.
You're watching TV1 News. After the break, PX marks 50th anniversary and Southern Cross donates racing vessel. Stay tuned.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSP Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSP branch today to register now for BSP Mobile Banking. BSP Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
Enjoy life when we work together, making happy memories that last forever. Karen talk young or old, the scale rice family meal with toast. We'll bring out the smiles cause it's a favorite by miles. Senisi gola scale rice, low scale price. Senisi gola scale rice, low scale price. But you like him?
Papua New Guinea. We love a reason for a family gathering. A reason to play. A reason to ignite the flame. reason to cook the best with the best. Flame Oil, now PNG made for PNG cooking. Flame Oil, winning taste.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo and milk taste and added nutrients, Milo and milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Fine PNG made.
Ton, 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 hino, ton, ton.
Nihimomo.
If you can't stop thinking about the Hino range of trucks, then you better drive one today. Hino.
Ton, ton.
That's been nailed. Short, fine leg will try.
Back again, Valentine, Richard, they weren't going to deny him. And he got a pass away to Lamb and McDonald with a try. Great work, Johnston laboured in right on half-time. Sebo, he'll get his first, he'll bring the crowd alive with that one. Comes back towards the centre, accelerates to Ruber, he's over the line and he gets the ball down.
Welcome back to Overseas News. South Australian Islamic leaders say the state's Muslim community has been left frightened and on edge after two fires were recently lit outside Adelaide Mosque. They say the Israel-Gaza war has fueled a spike in Islamophobic attacks, but SA Police says at this stage it doesn't believe the fires are racially motivated.
The scene of what he describes as a hate crime. SA Islamic Society board member Dr. Omar Smarty says the Muslim community has been left shaken by two recent fires outside Adelaide mosques.
We feel on the edge, we feel very tight and we feel so scared.
A grass fire was discovered outside this Parkhole Mosque last Thursday. 4 days later, arsonists allegedly set fire to a gas bottle outside a Woodville mosque.
We feel like we've been targeted because of the conflict in the Middle East, basically between Israel and Hamas.
SA Police says it's investigating the fires, but doesn't believe they're linked or are racially motivated. But Muslim leaders reject that assessment.
That spark is not a coincidence. There is something brewing out there, and we are really concerned.
The fires have prompted SA Police to boost its presence around places of worship.
There will not be any willingness to tolerate this type of behaviour. People should be able to practice their faith in our society with complete lack of fear.
There is no place for Islamophobia in Australia. There is no place for hate speech. There is no place for prejudice.
Newly appointed Upper House MP and SA's first Muslim parliamentarian, Mira Eldenawi, has told the ABC it's a difficult and profoundly upsetting time for SA's Muslim community. She says Islamophobia has no place in the state. Islamic leaders say reports of Islamophobia across Australia have increased tenfold since the Israel-Gaza war started. They say politicians need to take more care when talking about the conflict.
Leadership can play a big role in shaping the environment and the atmosphere and the opinion of the public.
A call for compassion at a troubling time.
The federal government has committed a further $15 million in aid for civilians in Gaza affected by the ongoing conflict. Acting Prime Minister Richard Marles says it boosts the humanitarian funding already announced for civilians in the war zone.
This is in addition to $10 million that we had announced last week, so it takes the total to $25 million. This will be working through a number of international agencies, the United Nations, the Red Cross, to provide humanitarian assistance for those who are obviously caught in the terrible circumstance of being in Gaza right now. We are particularly concerned for those who are suffering in Gaza. I mean, Gaza is home to more than 2 million Palestinians, the vast bulk of whom have nothing to do with Hamas, and who are obviously caught up in this very difficult set of circumstances. And so we are committed to providing assistance to them through international agencies such as the UN and the Red Cross.
How quickly could that aid reach the people in Gaza?
Well, look, that's going to be worked through obviously with those agencies, but we'll be providing that money as soon as we can.
Is there any update on the number of Australians in Gaza and any plans to get them out?
My last advice is that we are working with 79 Australians, permanent residents and their immediate family. It is obviously a very difficult situation. We are working with international partners to establish a humanitarian corridor, which we hope we can have in place, which will allow people such as them to leave Gaza. That is not in place yet. We have, though, seen some humanitarian assistance come through the Rafah checkpoint on the border with Egypt, and so we will continue to work on that. We're encouraging those people to move to the southern part of Gaza in accordance with the Israeli warnings, which will provide will be a safer place, and obviously being in northern Gaza, but the whole of Gaza is obviously in a very difficult situation, and we continue to work with those people, those Australians, and they are front of mind in terms of our efforts right now.
A group of Tiwi Islands elders is urging the Australian government to intervene to stop a Santos gas pipeline project impacting ancient underwater burial grounds. Working with scientists and lawyers, the elders have lodged an emergency appeal with the government's Environmental Defenders Office to stop the pipeline.
6 Tiwi elders, which is islands up in the Northern Territory just above Darwin, have lodged an urgent appeal with the Environment Minister, Tanya Plibersek, urging her to intervene before Santos starts putting in a pipeline for its Barossa gas project up above their islands. The Tiwi Island elders have been working with lawyers and environmental groups, and they've been doing geolocation and mapping, also using oral histories to map out where they think that significant sites could be underneath the ocean where the pipeline would go. It must be said they don't have any physical proof that there are things such as burial grounds on the seabed, but the marine archaeologists that I've been talking to about their case say that they think it's probable they've mapped out these sorts of sacred sites. And the reason why these sites could be underneath the water is because many, many years ago the Tiwi Islands weren't an island at all. We know through looking at quite incredible replications of sea level rise by archaeologists and geologists that once upon a time the Tiwi Islands were connected to mainland Australia, as were many other parts of Australia. We know that once, for instance, Victoria and Tasmania were connected as well. And this archaeologists have told me means that there is potential significance for thousands of archaeological sites to be in the waters all around Australia. Santos denies and says it disputes the allegations by the marine archaeologists working with these Tiwi elders. It says it's brought in its own extensive anthropological investigations, and it brought in its own archaeological investigations, which concluded there's no significant sites along where it wants to put its pipeline. It is interesting, though, when you read the archaeological reports done for Santos, they said that there's maybe around 60 sites of potential significance along the pipeline that could be investigated further. They said that the conditions down on the seabed, which is around 40 to 50 metres below the seabed, could be good enough that there could be potential for the preservation of human occupation. Things like, they even said, ancestral remains. So Santos says no, it doesn't think there's any sites along this pipeline, and it has been given approval by the offshore gas and oil regulator to go ahead with this piece of its infrastructure.
Back home, the regulator of mines in Papua New Guinea, Mineral Resource Authority, has assured landowners of Porgera Mine that it will ensure New Porgera Limited is compliant with all laws before it reopens the mine. The compensation agreements are requirements by law and must be executed first before the start of the project. MRA was responding to claims by landowners that the government, New Porgera and Barrick were rushing to open the mine without completing compensation and the community development agreements.
Acting Managing Director of Mineral Resource Authority, Jerry Gary, in a statement said, MRA is committed to the landowners and is in constant dialogue with New Porgera to ensure compensation agreements are progressed and signed. He said compensation agreements are mandatory requirements and must be signed before the commencement of any mining operation. Section 155 of the Mining Act requires a compensation agreement to be in place between the holder of the tenement and the landholders before the tenement holder can enter and occupy the land for mining. He therefore said the mine cannot be opened without this agreement in place. He added that the compensation agreement does not affect the granting of SML 13 and its mining development contract. Thus, these documents were executed lawfully. In response to calls for the Community Development Forum to be conducted first before compensation agreements, Gary said CDA was not a mandatory requirement to the reopening and can be executed after opening the mine. Priority now is to get the compensation agreements done. He said any benefits agreed to will be paid retrospectively to the date of the grant or other mutually agreed commencement date. Gary also cleared the air that Porgera was not a greenfield project but a brownfield one. This means Barrick has been on the ground and had already been permitted entry under the Care and Maintenance Agreement, pursuant to an order of the National Court for the upkeep of the mine until it opens. Ruth Rungula, TV1 News.
TV1 News continues after the break. Stay with us.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
Hiya, Mama. You wait then, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magic kakaro, get up and big smile on face. Time for kim chicken, a great kumutu. Sip, sip, da mumu, yes, magic on you.
Maggi, the taste PNG loves.
A quick favorite meal for the day does feel good. Snacks noodles is my choice for a simple meal. It is easy to prepare and fast to cook. And with a touch of flavor and ingredients, quality noodles that can be cooked and enjoyed in many different ways. You see, my whole family loves it. It's made here in PNG and comes in different pack sizes. Snacks noodles, tastier but you like it more.
Hey, you want to talk? Want to win one of 4 Costa buses? Simply collect 6 SP Lager Red promo caps and enter the draw at a participating store near you. There are heaps of other great prizes to win too, like SP Hunters jerseys and other awesome SP Lager gifts. So enter the draw today for a chance to win. There's a bus to be won in Islands, Southern, Momase, and in New Guinea Islands. SP Lager, Bungi Mumi!
Hi, I'm Chef Jules Henao, and this is where my true inspiration for cooking started. Like most of us, I learned to cook from my mum. Nothing beats simple recipes where fresh local produce is at the heart, especially when it's a home-cooked meal, prepared and shared with the ones you love. And in PNG, no meal is complete without rice. And my choice is always True Guy. True Guy, true inspiration through generations.
Blacks will play in a record 5th World Cup final. Arkia Snaven scores for South Africa. They have come from behind and they will defend their Rugby World Cup title.
Welcome back. The national flag carrier Air Niugini celebrated its 50th anniversary of operations in the country last night. The event was celebrated with pioneer pilots and engineers at the Stanley Hotel in Port Moresby.
Dressed in different costumes depicting the colors of Air Niugini since its operations in 1973, the airline staff, including flight attendants, pilots and engineers, showcased a wonderful display of colors to celebrate Air Niugini's 50th anniversary. It was a memorable night with some pioneer staff sharing their testimonies on how they started with Air Niugini and made their way up to the ranks and file within the organization. Phyllis Tabara, a pioneer flight attendant who started a career with the Air Niugini in 1973, had the opportunity to share a story. Ms. Tabara was also one of the pioneer flight attendants who was among the crew that served the international flights to Honolulu in USA, Singapore, Hong Kong, Beirut, and others. She retired from the airline in 2015.
The Bird of Paradise uniforms were introduced in mid-1977 with the colours of yellow, orange and lime green dresses. So beautiful they made heads turn. The accessories of this uniform were in brown leather. I must admit, I was proud of wearing this uniform in my flying era. By April 1979, I was promoted to fly the international routes. At this time, there was one Boeing 707 aircraft, P2A&A.
Meantime, Prime Minister James Marape, who was the guest of honor at the event, thanked and acknowledged staff of Air Niugini for their tireless efforts in keeping the airline in the skies. He said Air Niugini have come so far and need a lot of improvement in the next 50 years.
2023 economy and country demands better services from all service providers, including Air Niugini. You have carried the country well. Up till today, you have uplifted 350 passengers. That is why my government is committed to ensure you are supported with the 2 billion kina facility we are creating to stock up your fleets, capacitate your airline or our airline, and ensure you are not late in the flights, and we are moving cargo, moving people, transacting commerce and trade in our country.
The Prime Minister further assured that the government will continue to support Air Niugini going forward. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
To celebrate its 50th anniversary, the national flag carrier Air Niugini has brought together some of its pioneer pilots and engineers to celebrate this milestone achievement.
Looking back to where it all started from the humble beginning with a fleet of 8 Fokker F-27s and DC-3s aircrafts, pioneer pilot Captain Gary Horner described Air Niugini as the best and friendly airline in the world. From an early age, he took up flying and eventually ended up flying for Talea in Papua New Guinea. Captain Horner served with Air Niugini for 15 years and was the man behind the naming of the airline. He was joined by other pioneer pilots and engineers last night in Port Moresby to celebrate the airline's 50th anniversary.
My first connection with PNG was way back in 1965 when I arrived here as a 20-year-old on a TA DC-3 into Goroka to fly the Lick Lick Bintang Ballaroon Sister 185 for Junior Buchanan. I fell in love with the country immediately, and who couldn't? In the 60s, the territory of Papua New Guinea, as it was known, was just a magical place that most people dreamed of, never had the opportunity to get to. And I was up here earning a living, flying my butt off in terrible trips up in the highlands, surviving somehow or other, and enjoying every minute of it. So much so that I think, okay, we've started a fire here, I want this to continue. I figured PNG had an enormous future, even though it's flying a bin tank. So one way to do that particular objective is to head back down under and join TAA. I'm based in those days, Tullamarine Airport didn't exist, it was Essendon, which is just across the road, 1967. Flew DC-3s and DC-4s, lasted 2 Melbourne winters. The second winter in Melbourne did the job well and truly. I said, that's it, no more Melbourne winters. I want to get back to PNG.
Since his retirement, he has flown local flights with his eldest son, who is working to gain his commercial license and unable to stay away too long.
He said, we've got to get a name for this company. And I said, well, how about we throw a bit of local flavour and give it a top prison name? And with instead of using N-U-W-G-I-N-E-I, as the English way of spelling it, let's throw in the top prison N-I-U-G-I-N-I, New Guinea. He said, sounds good. Anyway, that stuck. So fortunately it stayed. The airline was formed on December the 1st, 1973. Tango Foxtrot Juliet, net 27-200, departed out of Lae. I was down there, I got a photograph of Prime Minister Michael Samari cutting the ribbon, laughed on me, looking on rather hesitantly and hopefully. As I launched out early in the morning with Captain Neil Keek, an acting captain, and Ken Hoyt, a young first officer, heading for Lae and Rabaul. From there on, the rest is history.
In attendance as well for the 50th anniversary was Prime Minister James Marape, as well as other government ministers. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
The government has approved the refleeting plan for Air Niugini, which will enable the airline to purchase 5 and lease 6 planes from Airbus and the purchase of 2 Boeing 787 Dreamliner to service the international routes. Minister for State-Owned Enterprises William Duma made this announcement last night in Port Moresby when celebrating the airline's 50th anniversary.
Air Niugini will have a total of 14 planes added to the fleet by 2026. Minister for State-Owned Enterprises William Duma thanked the government under the leadership of Prime Minister James Marape for supporting Air Niugini in its plans to refleet its aircraft. He further pointed out that in the past 5 decades, Air Niugini has played a vital role in connecting PNG, enabling trade and commerce, fostering social development, and encouraging tourism. The air transport services provided by Air Niugini have been instrumental in the economic progress and improved quality of life for the people. He said the refleeting of the aircraft will boost the growth of the airline going forward.
Today, I'm proud, as Minister responsible, to be a part of an exciting new chapter for our company, marked by the acquisition of new Boeing 787 Dreamliner wide-body aircraft and Airbus 220 regional jets. This strategic move signifies a new age for the company.
Minister Duma said the onus is now on the board of directors, led by the new chairman, Carl Yalo, and the executive management team, led by Gary Seddon, to deliver. He said the government has recognized the challenges that Air Niugini has faced over the years. However, Mr. Duma said it is through these challenges that the airline has emerged stronger and more resilient.
Disruptions, ladies and gentlemen, to the Air Niugini schedule as a result of decades, I dare say, due to management and, of course, political interference, and also to a certain extent the conditions of the airports we have in our country. These challenges cannot be simply corrected overnight, as we all know. The current Board of Air Niugini and the management are charged with the execution of a series of competent strategies and plans that will turn around the operating performance and improve schedule integrity.
Meantime, Chairman of Air Niugini Board, Carl Yalo, acknowledged the support of government over the years and committed to serve the people of this country in his current capacity as the chairman.
In the years since Air Niugini has faced its fair share of challenges, we have navigated through turbulent skies, weathered storms, and overcome obstacles that tested our resolve. Through it all, we have remained steadfast in our mission to serve the people of Papua New Guinea and connect them to the world.
Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
And now the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.2695 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our kina was buying $0.2620 $0.4144 Australian dollars, €0.2406 and 39.02 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, cocoa, copper and crude oil closed higher, while coffee, palm oil and copper closed lower. And on the stock market, Dow Jones closed lower, ASX closed lower, and all ordinaries closed lower as well. And that ends the news segment. In sports, Kumul's ready for challenge and Johnston reaffirms passion. Stay tuned.
Children have rights. Be part of the Children's Voices Challenge. If you are between the age of 6 and 17 and would like to raise your voice, share your views and future wishes on how best you can make a difference and improve our country, we want to hear from you. Be a part of the Children's Voices Challenge. You can submit the following: artwork, video or pictures, podcast or songs, poetry, written form, social media campaign, web page, flat and one-page website. Make sure that the videos, podcasts or songs are not more than 2 minutes long. Written pieces including poems, letters or blogs are not more than 1,000 words, and a social media campaign has not more than 4 social media posts. Your voice is important, your voice is the future. The Children's Voices Challenge deadline is Tuesday, 31st October 2023.
Change your TV plan to a postpaid plan and save more than 100 kina. Get a 30-day 40-channel plan for only 85 kina and get a free DTV plan to watch rugby league, or Filipino dramas from anywhere you want. Good idea. How awesome is that?
What a moment!
Dial 1515 to speak to a TV agent and get yourself a postpaid TV plan today. Digicel TV. More channels, more choice, more value.
Want more data for less? Get it now with Digicel's revamped Red Club. Enjoy data bundles from as low as 1 kina per gigabyte. Plus rollover data, the widest coverage, fastest speeds, and best reliability. Only with Red Club. Join Digicel's exclusive Red Club today and get loads more data for less. Yes! Data bundles from as low as 1 kina per gigabyte. Whoa! Join today for as low as 10 kina weekly to access discounted data bundles and get more data for less. Dial *675# or visit the My Digicel app today. The Red Club. Only with Digicel.
That's an excellent header and a brilliant goal. That's Liverpool for you. You just can't keep them down. Murray for the line. Over for another try. Australia are pulling all the tricks out in a powerful display. Kicks for Stags. No, it's a one play.
So good at creating space there. They're just a kick. There's another try for the Kiwis.
That's a magnificent 21st one-day international century.
Thanks for staying with us. In sports, the Papua New Guinea Kumuls will take on the Fiji Bati in the final round of the Pacific Championships this weekend. The big matchup will be played on Sunday, October 29th at the Santos National Football Stadium in Port Moresby.
There won't be no love lost between the two Melanesian rugby league brother nations, Fiji and PNG, when they face off this Sunday as the quest for the Pacific Championship Bowl Challenge intensifies. PNG, coming off a bye after the big win of the Cook Islands 2 weeks ago, will have a lot of respect for their Fiji rivals. The last time the two teams met was back at the 2022 Pacific Cup Challenge in Townsville, where PNG got up over Fiji 24 points to 14. In the meantime, the two camps have announced strong lineups ahead of Sunday's big blockbuster here at the Santos National Football Stadium.
For myself and for our team, we're just going to treat it as a two-test series. You know, we know we're playing at home and we're going to have a big fan base here that we don't want to disappoint anybody. So, yeah, we know the week after is much more important, and it is tricky when you know you're playing them, but the best way to approach it is it's now a two-test series. Obviously, the second test is much more important because that will be a final, but for us, it's, you know, we want to enjoy playing well and work hard. So we're going to treat both games the same. Understand the second one's more important, but this week's more make sure we play well. But it's a chance of giving the UK guys an opportunity to force their way in to make sure they're in for the week after. So there'll be a couple of good players that'll miss out this week. But you know, as I mentioned, we'll pick the side for this week and then we'll reassess early next week.
Kumul international Justin Nolan will continue to miss this weekend's game due to a knee injury. He has been ruled out of the rest of the tournament as his fellow Kumul Roderick Tai. Mackenzie Ye is on a steady recovery and hopefully he should be okay for next week. Meanwhile, the Fiji Bati camp have had a mixed week with late changes to their training schedules, keeping away from too much media hype. While coach Voise Takivereta said they want to focus on themselves.
We need to focus on ourselves, not look at PNG or Cook Islands at the moment. It's a young squad. We need to focus on ourselves, work on our defence. We can score points anyway, but we need to keep them level-headed, play up-front football, and see what we can come up at the back of that.
The outcome of Sunday's game won't have any effect on the draw as both teams are scheduled to play again next week in the Bowls final. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
The injection of UK Lee Leopard superstar number 9 Edwin Ipape to the PNG Kumuls starting 13 for this weekend's international match against the Fiji Bati would add a bit of flair and pace to the Kumuls attack. Ipape headlines a number of key changes to the Justin Holbrook's coached side and reunites with his Lee teammate Lachlan Lamb at number 7.
The Kumuls live wire is living his childhood dream, being very passionate about representing his country and again ready to wear the Kumul jumper with pride, something that he doesn't take for granted. Recalling back his childhood days, Ipape said it's everything as a young man growing up to be a Kumul. It is the pinnacle of PNG Rugby League.
My motivation was when Hunters kicked me out here. They said I wasn't good enough for their standards. That was definitely the part that drove me, and I definitely knew that I had a lot in me to offer in this rugby league world, and just to put Papua New Guinea on the rugby league map, and just to get the nation up there and make the people that support rugby league in the country proud.
Rugby League. Ipape gained a lot of inspiration watching the likes of Kumul legends back in the day, Larsen Marabe, Dionaye, and the list goes on. When Kumul lose, he gets very disappointed, but always love the Kumuls.
As for myself, I've dreamed, to wear this Kumul jersey, and every time I get a chance to wear the Kumul jersey, I take it as this is my first time. I don't take it for granted, and I play to the best of my ability to get the result.
Kumul's coach has confirmed that Ipape will be the starting hooker against Fiji Bati. This pushes Judah Rimbu to the bench and Liam Horn to the extended bench. Lee Leopard's Lachlan Lamb will be instrumental with Edwin to rekindle their collaboration at the club. Despite Fiji boasting a heavier pack and an NRL star-studded lineup in the backs, PNG continues to excel at home with a more...
Lucky Lem, you know, every week you expect him to be on top of his game, and come training day, days in, days out, he's at his best every time. That's how he plays the game on the weekend, and you know, we all know what Lucky is like when he puts on that Kumul jersey. You know, it's his skin, and he's a very competitive, you know, young man. So I'm sure, you know, you'll see the best of him come Sunday.
Despite Fiji boasting a heavier pack and an NRL star-studded lineup in the backs, PNG continues to excel at home with a more rousing home crowd. Terry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
National Rugby League prolific try scorer and Sydney Rabbitohs flyer Alex Johnston has rekindled his love playing for his country again, as he looks forward to back himself for the Kumuls when they face the might of the Fiji Bati this Sunday. Johnston said, though he hasn't scored too many for the Kumuls since his debut, and he'd love to score a few more if he can this weekend.
NRL's top try-scoring machine and PNG international Alex Johnston holds the Rabbitohs' all-time try-scoring record of 184 and highlight in his NRL career so far. Johnston, back in Kumul camp this week after the bye last week, would love to unleash his try-scoring form and score a few against Fiji Bati on Sunday.
Yeah, hopefully I can keep ticking some records off. I mean, yeah, playing rugby league, that's the highlight in itself, but to be up there, you know, breaking records is pretty special, and yeah, hopefully one day I can do something amazing, be on top of the try scoring, but yeah, right now I'm trying to, you know, get a job done for the Kumuls and hopefully score. I haven't scored too many for the Kumuls, so yeah, hopefully I'll score.
Johnston would be up against his Rabbitoh teammate Tani Mean in the Bati lineup for the first time, which is pretty funny, he said, but looking forward to the matchups.
It's pretty funny coming up against guys like Tane. I know what he's going to bring. He talks a lot of, I don't want to say the word, but yeah, he talks a lot on the field, and it'll be fun versing him, and Fiji are going to be very strong, so yeah, looking forward to the matchups.
He said his family have been very supportive, especially on his mum's side, and would be there on Sunday, including his mum coming from Australia.
A couple came, I think, last week, but my mum and my auntie are flying from Australia to come, and then I've got a few cousins in Port Moresby that'll be coming to the game. So I think I need about 10 tickets this week. Yeah, hopefully get a lot of support out there.
Johnston made his debut for the Kumuls in 2019 when PNG beat England at the Santos National Football Stadium. He said the crowd and the atmosphere was unbelievable. They treat you like rock stars.
The best thing about it was probably, especially back in 2019, yeah, playing for the Kumuls for the first time. Yeah, there's a bit going on with my footy back home, so I come here and the crowd and the atmosphere that everyone brought just made me fall in love with the game again. Everyone loves footy over here. They treat you like rock stars, and yeah, it's unbelievable. And yeah, it really just made me fall in love with footy, and that's why I love playing for the Kumuls.
Johnston again reiterated how proud he is playing for PNG and representing East Nan's heritage. Terry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
The tide has turned for Papua New Guinea netball team this time, showing top performance compared to its 2022 winless campaign on the international scene, with 4 victories out of 4 matches at the Mattress Nations Cup in Singapore. In Day 4, PNG beat Sri Lanka 69-51.
The new-look PNG Peppers team is taking the courts by storm, determined to improve their standing after they finished last at the Pacific Netball Series in Australia. The country's governing body for the sport, Netball PNG, made a lot of changes to its coaching staff and its players. These changes are paying off. The team is being boosted with the inclusion of 6 overseas-based players as PNG continues dominance at the Mattress Nations Cup in Singapore undefeated. PNG Peppers head coach Ani Yamo says the move to add players from Australia was to raise their competitiveness against their Oceania counterparts. The recruits bring speed in the mid-courts, which is a plus in the team. Ranked number 36, PNG are the 3rd lowest ranked team among the 6 sides at the ongoing Nations Cup. The other teams are Cook Islands ranked 19, Sri Lanka 20, Singapore 26, Canada unranked, and Singapore A. The PNG Peppers look forward to their final match on Friday against Pacific counterparts Cook Islands. The lanky Cook Islanders won't be an easy beat. The Max's Nations Cup ends on Saturday, October 28. Susan Oreape, TV1 Sports.
The PNG Olympic Committee with partner Drakes of PNG have launched the support merchandise for Team PNG for the 2023 Pacific Games in the Solomon Islands. The launching was held yesterday at Drakes of PNG Waigani Central ahead of the Pacific Games that is less than 3 weeks away.
The Papua New Guinea Olympic Committee's launching of the official supporting merchandise with Jacks of PNG contributes to the advancement of sport in Papua New Guinea. By wearing the merchandise, not only do the supporters spread awareness of Team PNG participating at the 2023 Pacific Games, but also foster a sense of unity and pride for the national team. In-country director for Jacks of PNG, Catherine Tawali, in a remark said, the athletes draw strength and motivation from knowing that they have a passionate and dedicated fan base backing them all the way. With the support from the fans in their uniforms, it will help motivate the athletes do well in their events and produce good results for their country. PNG Olympic Committee board member Michael Henao, on behalf of Team PNG and the PNG Olympic Committee, thanked the partner Jacks of PNG for its support and partnership in delivering the 2023 Pacific Games support merchandise. When appreciating the Jacks of PNG for its support, Henao said athletes cannot be strong by themselves but need one another in times like these to be much stronger. The PNG Olympic Committee, together with partners Jacks of PNG, encourages everyone to come together and get behind Team PNG, who will be participating at the 2023 Pacific Games pursuing sporting excellence. The 2023 Pacific Games will be hosted in Honiara, Solomon Islands from November 19th to December the 2nd. Susan Oreape, TV1 Sports.
That's all we have in sports. Marisila.
Thanks, Rex. We'll now have the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Southern, isolated showers and thunderstorms. Port Moresby, partly sunny, fine. Momase, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms with some rain areas. Lae, easing rain showers, then cloudy. New Guinea Islands, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms with areas of rain. Kavieng, rain and possible thunderstorms. Highlands, isolated showers and thunderstorms. Mount Hagen, partly cloudy with evening rain showers. Coral and Bismarck seas slight to moderate with southeast winds of 10 to 20 knots. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border to Daru, Kiwai Islands, Kerema to Yule Island, Hood Point to Samarai Islands, Cape Vogel, and eastern and western Milimbe Islands, Finschhafen through Vitias Dampier Strait to CSA Long Islands, New Island and Bougainville, seas 1 to 2 meters. And that ends the news tonight. Thanks for your company. Bye for now.
The TV1 News was proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our people.